So this episode was delayed a day for two reasons. The first of which being that someone in my city decided to hit either a power line or a transformer that knocked out the power for a good 5 to 7 hours. I fell asleep, admittedly, so I lost track of time a bit. But they knocked out the power for a good couple blocks worth of homes, including mine. So that delayed the episode, on top of the fact that I had to sit here and try to find the perfect trade. Ideally, for this team, we would have a better third pairing right-handed defenseman. Just a better defenseman in general. Ideally, we would have someone better on the third line. We could drop Colton Sissons to the fourth line. It'd be perfect. And of course, if we were trading one Pekka Rinne, we would be looking for a goaltender to replace him, or, if that's not possible, draft picks, and we sign Steve Mason on the free agent list. And unfortunately, the only two teams that really work out in terms of players that are on the block, that way they're easier to acquire, and we don't have to worry at all about adding draft picks, the two teams, Calgary and Chicago. Unfortunately, I can't get a trade to work with either of these two teams. For Calgary, we would be looking at Michael Frolik, which, despite his attributes that you are seeing here, has actually had a pretty damn good season. Unfortunately, 3 years left at $4.3 million is not something that I am willing to pay. Not at all. And unfortunately, they're not willing to retain salary. So that shuts that door. Of course, they could use a slightly better backup than David Rittich. It is what it is, though. It's not going to work out, unfortunately. The defenseman we were looking at was potentially Michael Stone. He doesn't have the best contract either. It is what it is. And that brings us to Chicago, where the best option would be Chris Kunitz, who's 38. He is on a half-decent contract with that one-year extension. Unfortunately, they don't want to move draft picks. So there's really no point in trading with them, because we'd just be throwing value away. So here is what we're doing at the deadline. In terms of me solidifying the right-hand side, I'm not going to trade for anybody, but we are going to make a free agent signing, as Kevin Bieksa is still a free agent, and why not? Let's bring in a certified face puncher just for a little bit of depth. We'll bring him in for the rest of the season. As far as the third line left wing option goes, I don't remember how long he's out for. He's still being evaluated, but Tolvanen will get the call up when he is back. And in terms of a backup goaltender, we don't have to worry about one right now, because we're going to keep Pekka Rinne for the rest of this year. Again, he has 1 year left. After this one, we'll look to move him at the draft. For now, we'll hold on to him. We'll move forward with UC Saros as the starter. So, I tried. Trust me, I tried. I spent way too much time looking at every team, even options that weren't necessarily on the trade block, and just trade value-wise, it didn't make sense. It's not going to work out. We're going to stand pat. We're going to keep the team the way it is. Kevin Bieksa signs, and we pick up a 2-1 overtime win over the Jets on deadline day. So the team remains the same. Let's see what we can do and whether or not we are a playoff team. And there were no other trades. The Shea Theodore move was the final trade of, or before, the deadline. How I wish I could say the final move of deadline day, but it's not a thing, of course. We don't have to get into that discussion again. Don't worry. So for the moment, I'm going to call up Kevin Bieksa. He'll just kind of sit there, and then he and Matt Irwin will be the healthy scratches. We're going to give Weber a chance to kind of get back into the lineup to see what he can do. And again, we need to keep an eye out. And actually, I'm going to double check right here to see how long Tolvanen is out for. Hopefully not long, but regardless, that spot is his on the third line. What we're going to do is probably drop Sissons and move Hartman over to the right-hand side. So Tolvanen, we still don't know. And then Kirkland's injured for the Admirals. But obviously, we're not as concerned. Sorry, Justin. It's the truth. I don't know what to tell you. As we're going to play Rinne here against Edmonton. If he gets the win and Saros loses. Actually, you know what? For that reason, let's play Saros here yet again against Edmonton. Rinne will play against Vancouver and will maintain the net. Easy for me to say. He'll maintain the net until he loses. We'll do it that way, just for the sake of course, auto-rotate not being on at the moment because of Rene's struggles. So Saros gets a 5-2 victory. Pekka Rinne, the pressure's on, buddy. If you lose this game, you're definitely right back out of the lineup. Back up to a .930 save percentage for UC Saros. Certainly didn't expect him to be as good as he has been so far. But let's see, Vancouver with a somewhat similar record. It's the overtime losses that are saving us. Can Rinne get the win? Kirkland's back to 100%. And we win 7-4. Not exactly convincing. Not exactly convincing from Rinne. We'll put Saros back in between the pipes for now. His save percentage dropped despite it being a win. UC Saros is back between the pipes for now because that is brutal. As we are just 2 points behind the Jets now, but of course the Dallas Stars have quite a bit of separation. 18 games to go in the regular season, our inaugural season, and I plan on keeping Saros in for the next 6 starts or so. I think we'll do that. We'll send him to this Colorado game. That'll be the next time Rinne gets an opportunity to win his job back, unless Saros really starts to struggle in these next few games, and a 5-1 loss is a sign of that. Tolvanen is 100%, so that is going to lead us to making lineup changes as it is. So let's go to roster moves. Tolvanen's going to get the call up more than likely. I might give him a couple of games in the AHL. I think for sure I'm going to call him up for the playoffs. How's Watson done since I put him back into the lineup? You know, he's been okay. He's been okay. Of course, there's been debate over Austin Watson. I think for the moment, we'll keep Tolvanen down in the AHL. We'll put him back in the lineup. And let's see, how can we do this? Can either of you play center? Can Brickley play center? He can. Beautiful. Second line is good. Third line is okay-ish. Of course, you know me, I'd prefer to have a right-handed player there. That's exactly what I'm going to do, because I'm stubborn, and I like my teams to be set up in a certain way. And Tanner Jeannot will probably be taken out for Kirkland. Let's do it that way. Actually, Jeannot should probably be in the lineup. Pedersen's not really going to improve. Nah, that's okay. We'll leave that team like that. All right, Admirals are good to go. Let's move forward. Tolvanen, like I said, will probably get the call-up for the postseason as 5-1 loss, 1-0 win. Okay, yeah, Saros, you're slipping. You are slipping. 3 losses in our last 4 games with a combined 13 goals allowed. Pekka Rinne, this is your opportunity to get back your starting job. We have slipped up. The Avalanche have caught us. It's been granted, there's never a good time to start losing a ton of games. But especially now, not ideal. Let's see what Rinne can do here. Hopefully he can get a win and get us back into that third spot, the top 3. That's what I was going to say. Regardless, 2-1. Beautiful. I'll take it. Rinne will get the start against the Arizona Coyotes. Much better effort from him there. Can he get the win against the Oats? If he loses and Saros beats Colorado, Saros goes back in. And it was a 2-0 shutout loss. All right, so Saros wins this game. He goes back in. He loses. I'm going to give Rinne that extra start. .905 save percentage now for Pekka Rinne. Hopefully, he can turn it around. I mean, right now, Saros would definitely be the guy that we'd go with in the playoffs, but it's still not ideal. I actually didn't have to jump back to the calendar, but it's all right. Can Saros get the win? He cannot. Right. It's not as if my teams haven't been prone to February and March collapses. Looks to be another example of that right now. It might actually be worth taking a look at the lineup and maybe mixing things up. So Rinne is going to be the starter. Who do we have right now? All right, Weber, you've been garbage. I'm going to give Kevin Bieksa a chance over Matt Irwin. And then let's see. That second pairing is okay. Ekholm's still not much of a point getter. And as it is, Ekholm and Subban, I really don't feel like have worked overly well together. But I don't exactly want to have Yossi and Subban together. I feel like they're going to work a bit better separately. But Hamhuis on the top pairing isn't exactly ideal either. So let's go... I don't know what we want to do here. I feel like Ekholm Subban is the best way to go. Yeah, that's still the best way to go, because we can't afford to have Hamhuis on the top pairing. So Hamhuis and Bieksa reunited on the third line. There you go. And as far... or the third pairing. Forsberg has struggled since coming back. Tempted to drop him. Third line's doing quite well. Fourth line's doing quite well, in fairness, too. Just a little bit worried about Forsberg struggling. Only 18 points in how many games? 38. Yikes. He is not making a good case when the pressure is on right now for this team to be winning games. And even Austin Watson being up to 14 points. I guess he has played 71 games, though. 20 points for a fourth liner, though, is somewhat ideal for me. So he's close to it at the very least. What can we do? I mean, I have an idea. Not that I want to drop Sissons down by any stretch, or Ryan Hartman. It's a possibility, though. Oh, boy. How do we want to do this? How do we want to do this? Because Forsberg on the top line, it's just not clicking right now. And I feel like, if anything, he's dragging down Johansson and Smith. I could easily swap Forsberg down to the second line, but I really like how they're doing. They're not, destroying worlds on the second line, but it's still a little bit better than what I would have expected. I know Arvidsson's technically a left wing. All right. Watson's going to sit for Zach Ronaldo, which I'm sure will make a certain section of the audience quite happy. I'm going to drop Sissons, probably. Potentially. I'm going to drop Sissons. I'm going to move Hartman over here. We know Bonino, Hartman, Yarncroke doesn't work. I'm going to go Ronaldo, Yarncroke, Sissons. Maybe. Possibly. Oh, this sucks to have certain players struggling when they really shouldn't be. It really does. I know I want to drop Forsberg, though. That is the main point of this. I want to drop him down to a lower line. Just to see if he can get kick-started a little bit. Let's go with... You know what? It's crazy. It's stupid. But I think that's why I like the idea. See, we have Bonino over there. Sissons here. Salomaki. Okay, this isn't working out exactly as planned. There. And you know what? In fairness, you know what? No, screw it. That's what we're running with. Salomaki, Johansson, Smith, Fiala, Turris, Arvidsson, Bonino, Sissons, Forsberg, Ronaldo, Yarncroke, and Hartman. It's what we're going with. Deal with it. As everyone else can stay the same, of course. We're good. Mika Salomaki, top line left wing. Best in the world. We're good to go. Don't worry. It can't get much worse than it has this month. Have you seen how many times we've allowed 4+ goals this month? Pekka Rinne, get back to your winning ways, please. We will give you 2 games. We'll see what happens. We'll go 2 games at a time as Carl Persson has a broken nose. He'll be out for just over about a week and a half, actually. About a week and a half. And let's take a look at American goaltenders. So let's see. Buffalo, it's a 3-2 shootout win. Toronto, it's a 5-2 win. Not bad. Not bad at all. We are going to go with... I think we're going to go with Saros here against Minnesota. And we'll put Rinne in against Winnipeg. So UC Saros will get the opportunity. See, I told you. Mika Salomaki, top line left winger. That is the key. Although technically, we're 2 points out of a playoff spot. And we really need to win this game against Colorado. Like, this is practically a must-win. So that's not nerve-wracking and concerning whatsoever. A must-win game, because we only have 9 games left this season, and we're in one hell of a playoff battle right now, and somehow the Pacific happens to have both goddamn wildcard spots as we get a 3-2 shootout win. I'll take it. Not overly helpful that the Wild were able to get a point when they're hot on our tail, but there is a little bit of separation there. We're 4 points clear, and we actually jumped Colorado. So we're tied in points with a game at hand on the Avalanche. So hopefully we can keep up our winning ways here as we are down to the final stretch. What is it now? 8 games left this season. Every game matters. No guarantees that we're going to be a playoff team, although the Avs do have a wild card spot currently. So Pekka Rinne's back in. Can he get the win against the 37-win Winnipeg Jets? Yes, he can. 5-2. We have won 4 in a row. We've beaten the Jets twice this month, and we've won our last 3 meetings against them. It's another game coming up, though, against Minnesota. Rinne will get the chance, and he loses 4-1. All right. Pressure's on here. 34-win Sharks. If Rinne loses, Saros gets the chance against Buffalo. As Person's back, I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. 7-2. Rinne stays. 5 games left. Tampa is playing lights out. I'm going to start Rinne against Buffalo. I feel like it's a more winnable game. If we lose to Tampa, so be it. But we have to beat Buffalo. Please tell me that we did. We did not. We lost 5-1. Pekka Rinne. I don't get you. I don't understand you. How do we lose 5-1 to an inferior team? We are still in third, even in points with Winnipeg. Colorado 2 points back. Good Lord, a playoff spot is still not set in stone. Scary as hell. Let's take a look here. Saros will get the start, 9:26 for him. Still a 9:05 for Rinne, despite those victories. Let's take a look at the defense. As I'm okay with that. I'm a little bit disappointed in Ellis. Oh my God, Bieksa and Hamhuis. Oh, what a pairing. What a pairing. We'll leave Ellis there. Perfect. And as far as the offense goes, 17 points for Salamaki. Love it. Anybody else that's overly concerning? Bonino's now a minus player. Forsberg up to 26 points. Not bad. We'll probably bump him back up to the top line for the playoffs, of course. Yarncroke also a minus player. Hartman's still doing relatively well. Oh, Ronaldo. Like, I know you're technically doing okay. If I take out Zach Ronaldo now, though, the people will riot. They will riot. I have to leave him in. I think we're okay. We just need the goaltending to show up. We need the good version of Saros to show up against a 49-win Lightning team. Ridiculous. Can we get the job done? We're on an Eastern Conference road trip to end the season. Let's scout out Liga for 2 weeks. Or the SHL, that works too. And it's a 4-3 overtime win over Tampa. 40 wins now on the year. 3 games to go. It's a relatively difficult game against Florida. They're on 41 wins. Washington, another 49-win team. And Columbus with 41 wins. Not the easiest schedule down the stretch. Saros will stay in. We're just going to go with the hot hand if we can. Where are we in the standings? We have jumped Winnipeg. We are 2 points ahead. 2 games clear. I was going to say 2 games clear, which is incorrect. 2 points ahead. Same amount of games played. Beautiful. Beautiful. Colorado also with 87 points. Beautiful. That's what I like to see. I just want to say beautiful one more time. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. Anyway. Right. Pressure's on here. Panthers currently in 3rd in the Atlantic. They are playing for a lot as well. Can we get the win over the Panthers? Please? Yes, 5-3. Is it official? It's still not official. Let's send to this game against Washington. They're on 50 wins. Will it be 51 by the time we play them? It will not. Let's see. Have we made it? Why is this? Okay, we're still not in officially. Good Lord. 91 points. 91. 1 point in our final 2 games. We clinched the 2 seed. That's all we need. 1 point in our final 2 games, and the 2 seed is ours. Can we get the win against Washington? Saros can. Yes! Whew. What a way for this team to show up down the stretch. It was looking rough to begin March, but we have won our way to the second seed in the division. We will host either Winnipeg or Minnesota. They're both dead even on points with 81 games played. We will see what happens, but our destiny is sealed. We will have home ice advantage against either Winnipeg or Minnesota. This game against Columbus is somewhat irrelevant, so we are going to change things up here. Rene's going to start. I think it's pretty much decisive that Saros is going to be the go-to guy for the playoffs. I'll give you a chance to give your input, but I'm pretty sure that'll be the key, and we are going to rest some players. No doubt. Subban is going to sit for Yannick Weber. Roman Josi will take a seat for Matt Irwin. And, let's go with that set of pairings right there. Why not? Just to rest up some top-notch players. Nobody on the forward core will rest, but we are going to drop the best players down. We'll do it that way. So, like, Hartman will be a top-line guy for this game. We'll literally just invert the lines. That's all we have to do. There we go. So, we invert the lines for this game just to try and get some other guys some ice time. Power play will still be the same, but doing what I can to try and make sure we don't walk away with an injury here. The game might still hand me one just to flip me off, basically. That'll be the only way to do it. It's a 3-2 win. The first season comes to a close. I am stumbling and stammering over everything, and guess what? It's not even hot in this room. We finish this season with a 43-30-9 record. Good for 95 points. PK Subban leads this team in points, and we will be playing the Minnesota Wild somehow, some way. Winnipeg misses out on a playoff spot entirely. That is brutal. Dallas took the conference again. We're playing Minnesota in the first round. Colorado makes it as well. Winnipeg and St. Louis just miss out. Chicago, worst team in the division. In the Pacific, Arizona takes that division. Vegas, LA, and Calgary all make the playoffs. This is the first time with these updated rosters that I have seen Vegas actually make the playoffs. Anaheim just misses out. Vancouver and San Jose a little bit off the pace, and Edmonton struggled again. Turns out that Connor McDavid and Cam Talbot aren't enough on their own. In the Atlantic, Tampa takes it. They didn't take the division, though, which is insane. Boston, Florida, Montreal, and Toronto all make it. So Ottawa, Detroit, and Buffalo miss out. None of those teams were horrifically off the pace. And then in the Metro, 108 points for the Washington Capitals, 100 for the Rangers, 92 for the Flyers, which means Columbus miss out by 4 points. New Jersey, the Islanders, the Pittsburgh Penguins with only 83 points, and Carolina with 81. So really, if you look at the wildcard spots, no teams in the East were terrible. Worst team in the league, though, by far, the Chicago Blackhawks, which is surprising, I would say. 70 points. Only 2 teams finished below 80 points. That is insane. Absolutely insane. Let's take a look. Goals for per game. Dallas by far the top in the league. We were top 10 with a 2.82. Goals against at a 2.59. Was still one of the lower numbers. Looked like bottom 10, which is great despite some of the struggles that our goaltending had all season long. Our power play at 18.8% is mid-table, and our penalty kill was somewhat up there. Higher up, 82.2%, so the power play might be something that we have to look at. But an 8-2 record, cruising into the playoffs, not too shabby. And the Admirals also made the playoffs by 1 point over Rockford. So there you go. Both teams represented in the postseason here in Season 1. It's what I like to see, especially considering there were some doubts at the beginning of the year. As far as the forwards go, I mean, consistent at least in terms of the point totals. I mean, 5 players over 50 points, which is ridiculous. To see Johansson, Turris, Smith of all people, Arvidsson, and Fiala above 50, it's obviously quite nice. Bonino with a very solid 45 for a third-line guy. Sissons perhaps the most surprising player on this team. 40 points. 40 for Colton Sissons. Amazing. Ryan Hartman with a somewhat disappointing 33 points. We'll see what lies ahead for him in the future. Philip Forsberg, in fairness, 30 points in 49 games is tremendous. Obviously, we'll look to get him back on the top line moving forward. Jan Krok, pretty disappointing, admittedly. Salomaki, 17 points in 82 games. Watson with 14. Ronaldo with 8. And then Tolvanen will more than likely get called up for the postseason here. Or we could leave him with the Admirals, and if they get eliminated, call him up to the main team. We have some options to work with in the playoffs, as PK Subban again led the way with 59 points, 41 for Yossi, not too bad considering the time that he missed. Els at 24, Ekholm at 23, happy with both of those numbers. Hamhuis, 9 points, but was a plus 8 in 71 games. Yannick Weber, 6 points in 66, not exactly ideal. Irwin was okay. Kevin Bieksa did better than expected, so we also have some options as well defensively. And then the goaltending. 43 starts to 45, 24 wins to 19, 5 shutouts to 1, a 925 versus a 905, a 209 against a 282. You could argue that Pekka Rinne might deserve a chance to start based on being the higher overall goalie, but every single stat is in UC Saros' favor. Let me know what you think. I have a feeling I know who's going to get the vote to be the starter. Also, goddamn, our AHL goaltending was phenomenal this season. Now that they made the playoffs, I'll probably just start Grosnick and McCollum. But, damn, not too bad at all. Potato with 18 points. And forward-wise, Goodrow did well. Tolvanen 57 points, 29 goals in 74 appearances. Not too shabby. With that, of course, we'll take a look at the player stats around the league, but of course now the choice is up to you. What do we do line combo-wise? Who's the starting goaltender? Do we call up Eeli Tolvanen or wait? What are the line combos? Philip Forsberg back on the top line, I'm assuming that will be the most common request, which I pretty much agree, as Sagan, Ben, and Radulov dominated the league. Absolutely dominated the league. You had Tarasenko and Schwartz up there, as you normally do. No real surprising names to see up there. Bergeron with 80 points. Not too bad. Scoring-wise, it was Tarasenko, Sagan, McKinnon, Kovalchuk with 43, and Ovechkin also broke 40. Laine and Hoffman, 35 each. And I meant to go to assists, not points. It was Radulov. Klingberg was also up there. So Dallas, their offensive firepower showed up. They had themselves one hell of a season. It's Thorburn and Reeves. Bravo, gentlemen. The only players with over 100 penalty minutes. Power play specialist was Tarasenko, 36. Other random stats to look at. Most faceoffs won. Joe Pavelski. Joe Pavelski. Who was the hit king? It was Nikita Zadorov and Jordan Staal. Wouldn't be surprised to see Staal win the Selke. Block shots went to Nick Leddy. Cody Ceci was up there as well. Most giveaways, for the hell of it, Carl Alsner. All right. Most takeaways, Brendan Gallagher. That's a tale of two players in Montreal. The Fight King, Reeves and Thorburn. Bravo, gentlemen. And again, rookie scoring, it's glitched because we edited players in year one. Why that's a thing this year when it wasn't a thing in previous years, don't know. But congratulations to Tyler Seguin on his inevitable Calder Trophy in 2018. Because that's just how this game works. Let's make it official. We know we're playing the Wild in the first round. That'll do it for this one. You know the deal. The likes, the comments, the subscribing, the sharing, the notification belling. We're on the road to 10K. We passed 9K, and I thank you for that. Will we hit 10K before the launch of NHL 19? Probably not, but again, I'm all right with it. For the amount of work we put into YouTube and Twitch, I'm in a pretty damn good spot and quite happy with it. So thank you for your support. I do appreciate it. Again, upload schedule-wise, I'm trying to pair Milwaukee with the Bills, Sabres with the Blue Jays. So, yeah, we'll see how well that works. But we're about a month out from NHL. We got time. We got time to make a decent impact in all four of these series, and really the two main ones, the three main ones, the new ones, for that matter. Kick rocks, Blue Jays, your old news. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.